Welcome to video 6, the second in discussion and the graphic organizer. Today we want to fill out that graphic organizer, so that will take a little bit of time. You're going to do it in group, so work on these things as we work through how to do it. Make a graphic which is included to help this process. There is one in the book, as it says a sample has been started, and you just change the information but keep the same idea. Fill in the rest as the team works on this topic. So as a team, remember we have everything segmented. Every team member should have one topic, because one topic, and in an argument, there are many topics in an argument. And so each team member will have chosen one. And if you have an opposition, they may not always have the same ones. So you have to prepare more than just your team. Think of different options. But right now we want to focus on developing yours. Each team should have a separate topic and develop their graph. So if you have 2 teams in your class or more, then each team should develop their own graph. Each graph should have pieces for each team member. So in the first row of the graph you can find key talking points. These are the key, the beginning point of your presentation in a debate. You're going to open and then state your first point. This is very, very important. This defines competition. Remember, we had chosen competition as the word to go to, and allows for expansion of the idea. So we chose competition from before, and that's our talking point, and we define competition. What do we mean by competition? And how are we going to expand it? This answers the question, why do we compete? So competition and compete, the definition, answers the question. In the second row, the opposing team will state their point as against, and they will counter maybe your definition or counter why people compete. They'll give a different idea. They will oppose what you're saying. And so you want to get, why do we compete is easy. Competing is because we are born that way. It's not a very good argument. So why do we compete? In the story, competition was getting a full-time job versus getting a 1-year contract, going from temporary to permanent. That's why we compete. We compete because we want to be the boss. That's not a very good argument. Find good arguments and then counter them. Counter them, okay? It's important to understand you are not only preparing your position, you are preparing to fight the position of the other team. So you want to put in and fill in the second row with that opposing team. In the third row, the first team will refute. You're going to respond to the position statement of the team and the second row. And then you're going to add more support for your or their initial point. So that's what you want. You want to put your position, short statement, add and against, so you can discover how people might rebut or respond negative, opposite to you, and then you want to add support for your first statement. But the third row will be the second point. But in an argument, that's what you want to do. You want to start with your position. They're going to rebut and respond, and then you're going to rebut and respond to theirs. Okay? And it's always time. So you have to be careful. So on a blank paper, make a similar graph. You don't have enough space in the book for this little tiny graph because it's really small type. So on a blank paper, make a similar graph and one team member for each point in the first row. There are 3 of them. And if you have 5 members, make 5. Don't always stop with 3. There are just 3 in the book for an example. Make the graph large enough. And if you need more than one piece of paper, maybe your paper is like this, maybe turn it like this so that you have more this way. This is a first point to work with. There should be at least one major point for each team to manage. Each team member should have something from that in their presentation. So you have the big point and you break it down into pieces for each. That's what we've done before. So you're just taking what you have done before and putting it here on this paper. A team is defined as more than one person, so it will depend on the size of the debate group. A good group is 5 people or 4. If it's too small, then it's harder. So if you have 2 and 2, that's okay. A team is more than 1. But if you have 4 or 5 in a team, it makes your arguments better and broader and deeper. Graphics. Writing out your discussion graph enables a better view and gives precise direction. Precise is the key here. You want not long ideas. You don't want to talk a long time. You have limited time in a debate. So you want to write very precise directions, very precise ideas. So then when you're researching, you are focused on exact ideas, not general ideas. Remember, in the first outline you made, there were like 2 or 3 words. If you go back there and you can research for those 2 or 3 words, you will find better material, making your search more efficient. And then when you regroup in the debate itself, you'll have a lot better ways to find exact material. Begin with a focused topic. Remember, competition was our key word. It may not be your keyword. You can choose your keyword. But in this presentation, in this book, we chose competition. And Coupang is a workplace. So why not start with workplace competition? Follow up, competing for position takes the load off management to be efficient. That is the argument for Coupang. That's a pro or for Coupang. That's a pro Coupang argument. Competing for position takes the load off management. So that's what Coupang would say. We let people compete for the position because then we don't have to worry about motivation. How would you counter that? And so making statements, not questions, is important at this point. Statements are what you want. It's easy to ask questions. We did that earlier. And we did that earlier because in the beginning of preparation, you need to ask questions to focus your research, to focus your discussion. Now we are making statements. We do not want questions here. So you need to make a rebuttal. How would you rebut this? Write it out. Okay? Write it out. Just use, 1 or 2 lines, or 1 line if you're writing small. Okay? Very precise. Competing for position takes a load off management to be efficient. How would you rebut that? What would be your response to this? Try it. Write it out. And you will notice the following statements give variations of the statement. I mean, The idea is, in the book you have 3 different statements, 3. And you have 3 all the way down. But they are the first 3, right? The first row is your initial statement. 3 different people making that statement. 3 different people, and if you have 5, make 2 more. So you make the statements, you make the rebuttal. Okay? And they are not the same. Just like the 3 kinds of discussion questions, you have 3 different statements. And then you build from there, because each one is a little bit different. And each team member will be different. So, in review, follow the example of the graphic given in the book. That is, just follow that. Write your own ideas. Generate your own ideas to complete at least 1 column for each person in your team. So each person should fill out their own. It doesn't have to be one person doing it. Each person should do their own, because they have to present. So they should have it here. If one person does it all, the other ones never really learn, because the writing of that point creates the memory. Create at least 1 pair of statements for each person. That's 1, 2, 3, and if you can get the 4th line, the 4th row, it would be great. But you should have at least the beginning. 1 statement for each box, not long-winded paragraphs. 1 statement. Everything you want. But I would encourage you, write out a paragraph and then make a statement. It's easier. Write out everything you want and then make 1 statement. Statements are short. They're not long. You're going to build under that. Build statements under that, just like your A, B. A, B, A, B, A, B. Okay, we did that before in the outline, and you're going to do it here. So what you did before is the same what you're doing here. You're just changing to statements about your argument. So, that's our video for today. Hope to see you for video 7. Come to class ready to show your ideas, and as a group begin your discussion about rebuttal to your points. We want to have this idea. This discussion will be about that ground. See you soon.